devil's eyes.
You will suffer an eternity for this.
First came the insult. Then came the injury. But when it came to taking hostages...
I suppose you'll use this drama as a reason to have another affair.
It's just going over and get it over with.
Hasn't he suffered enough?
Shows me because I was a little... Shut up!
I hijacked your parents.
Denis Leary.
You know what this family needs? A mute.
The Wreck. Rated R. Starts Friday, March 11th at a theater near you.
The blackest eyes. The devil's eyes.
You will suffer an eternity for this.
Humans get frightened because they have feelings. Didn't your alien leaders teach you that before they sent you here?
I don't know, Kevin. Did your alien overlords teach you feelings before they sent you here?
Nano.
Klatu, Verada, Nectar.
Necktie? Nectar? Nectarn.
The turn. The word.
Definitely an N-word.
Yep, well, the wrong word.
We didn't think that part through.
Yeah, we didn't plan that far ahead, but the best we did was we planned for Doing the Rep from 1994, starring Denis Leary, Kevin Spacey, and a very excellent cast otherwise. And we know it's not our normal, usual movie. We usually like to do our horror and science fiction here on 0 Point Reviews, where we talk about the good, the bad, and then we judge these movies. We judge each other, and then we're judging you too. Now, Kevin, did you ever see this when it first came out, or what was your first memory?
No. Okay, so this one kind of took me by surprise. I was living with my cousin at the time. I was 19, and I'd never seen this before, and it tripped him the fuck out. And he's like, seriously, he's like, I've been in prison for 6 years, and you've never seen this movie before. And so we sat down and we watched this, and I swear to God, I've never laughed so hard at a movie like up until that point. This is probably the funniest movie I'd ever seen at that point.
Yeah, for me, I actually saw this in theaters, March 1994. And
did you?
Yes, I did. And I don't remember the specific date. I just remember it was March. I had the movie ticket for the longest time until when I moved out for college. And when I came back to pick up some of my stuff, my mom had already gotten rid of about 85% of my stuff, including that. So, yeah, that's a different topic altogether. On when you moved, what did your parents get rid of on you that you were mad about?
Oh God, we should probably do that some Saturday night.
Yep, we will probably do that on one of our live streams. But I saw this in theaters, loved it. I actually saw this several times in the theaters. It's my kind of humor. It's very dry, it's very sarcastic, and it's witty, and it's just fun. And at that age, my introduction to Denis Leary was this movie and Demolition Man. I did not know about his stand-up routine or any of that at all. And these two movies made me a fan of his.
I want to say my introduction to him was either SNL or No Cure for Cancer. But I think I want to say I was aware of the Asshole song before I saw this movie. But because I saw this knowing that he was in it.
Right.
And Kevin Spacey. I liked Kevin Spacey from Seven. So I was kind of like, okay, well, let's see where this is going to go. He's in a comedy.
Yeah.
But Denis Leary, I knew he was funny. But I didn't know how funny. I didn't know that this movie was going to be like a total vehicle that was going to let him do exactly what he was good at. And man, once he gets going in this movie, because it takes a couple minutes, but once he gets going and lets loose, like he doesn't let you stop. I mean, he's got you laughing the entire time.
Yeah, whenever he's on screen, he just takes over.
Yeah, he's clever and witty. Now, of course, there are moments where they're letting the story progress, where you're hearing Kevin Spacey or I can't even think of her name, Aunt Connie.
Yep.
having them talk about their backstory and the reason for the divorce and everything else. And but other than that, like,
Caroline and Lloyd, everybody for character names. The
yes, thank you.
Chasseurs, 18th century French
Chasseurs.
Huguenot.
I don't even know what the hell
Yeah, that
is.
drove me crazy the twice I heard it. I'm like, gee, I wonder where Jesse the Kid gets it from. He gets it from his dad.
Right. So very proud. Doesn't know what it means, but very proud of it.
Very proud. All right,
As
Kevin,
you should be.
let's get into the good, the bad, and let's judge this thing.
All right. So first of all, with the good, like I said, this was I don't know how this script started, but the movie ended up being a vehicle for Denis Leary to do exactly what he was good at, and that was own a mic and tell people to shut the fuck up and have good hot takes. And golly, he was just fantastic at it. And he was the funny person, and Kevin Spacey was more the straight man.
Yeah, at least that movie.
Yes, but they were both pretty goddamn. Yeah.
I was wondering how long it might take you to catch that. We will have subtle jabs throughout this review, everybody. It's okay.
Then some not so subtle jabs, I'm sure.
Yep.
Anyway, I got digressed.
You're just talking about Dennis and how it took him a few minutes to get going with the role and with the movie. It's largely because they initially made him out to be this supreme, like highly intelligent thief slash robber. And he gets caught up in like this mousetrap affair in the rich guy's house, pulls on a camera and a ring, and basically gets shot with cat piss and dropped through a trap door. It's almost like out of a Wile E. Coyote cartoon. And then he lands in the basement, has to deal with a very, very pretty puppy named Cannibal.
Cannibal.
When we found out the name of the movie, that's the first time I think I died laughing watching the movie. You got bit by Cannibal? The dog's name is Cannibal? Jesus Christ.
And it shows it sitting there chewing and gnawing on a cue ball and breaks it and crumbles it to pieces, and you're just kind of like, fuck. And my wife will not allow us to have a Rottweiler. She's terrified of Rottweilers. And no, she didn't see The Omen. She just had a bad experience. Like her aunt had a Rottweiler, and
Gotcha.
it didn't like kids, and it would growl.
Ooh.
But the adults were too fucking drunk or busy chatting, whatever the fuck else. Be like, oh, it's just talking to you. My wife's very smart. She knows better. Like, she's like, no, it's fucking tell me to fuck off. Yeah, it's talking to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's just very afraid of Rotties. I grew up with Rotties. Yes, having seen The Omen, thinking that was cool, but knowing that they're just giant babies, giant babies with giant cheeks. Yeah. Anyway, Rotties, Cannibal. Yeah, I'm not afraid of that. Like, I love Rottweilers. Anytime they're in a movie, I'm super excited. Anytime they're supposed to be like fearsome in a movie, I laugh even more because I do know that their general nature is just giant babies.
Yeah. Well, if you met my freaking German Shepherd, you'd be like, I ain't getting near that thing. You'd be like, what, you don't want to get kissed by a German Shepherd? Because she ain't going to kill you.
She ain't going to kill you. Oh, Mia. Goddamn, dude. She's 200 pounds. She scares everybody. But she met my neighbors tonight. And he was smart enough not to mess with her because she was being protective of my wife.
Right.
But he was also wise enough to see that she's just a big baby and a scary cat. So he wasn't wanting to scare her either. Like, he put his hand up to the fence and was eventually just letting her smell him.
Oh, yeah. And that's the way to go.
Yeah. And then she was fine after that. But she is just a giant scaredy puss, a 200-pound scaredy puss.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But Cannibal was not necessarily a scaredy dog or little girly dog.
No.
But we only got to see Cannibal the one time, though.
Yeah. I mean, going back to the mousetrap part, that was funny. We're what, a year outside of Home Alone, 2 years maybe?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe 3. Yeah, 2 to 3 years because it's 94. So yeah, so this thing was that trope was still funny. It was still amusing. They didn't do it too much, so it was really funny at that point. It just gave that homage to Home Alone.
4 years,
and it wasn't
actually.
okay. So it was 4 years. So it wasn't him getting his ass kicked by a kid. It was him getting his ass kicked by a security system, basically. But he did get his ass kicked by it.
Yep. Plenty of
Yeah.
physical humor in this movie. That's one of the things I really liked was no real special effects, just interesting stunts and interesting, physical gags that they were doing here and there. I really
This
like that.
this is one of those movies that I like because you could teach this in drama class. Like if
Hey,
you just
there you
took
go.
the script from this for your drama class and just like separated it and handed it to groups of kids and you could teach this. Like you said, there's no special effects. There's no stunts that they necessarily have to do. This is a scene by scene story. Like it's really good. It's well acted. It's people interacting with one another without having to do over the top things to make you entertained. It's just witty banter.
Oh, yeah. Well, that comes along with like the writing, and you got the talent of the crew to go with it. And one of the absolute best things about this movie is the script and the actual acting talent, because half the time you can write the funniest movie, but if you got like the actors that aren't quite into it, or they don't have that kind of delivery you need, it's not going to turn out like at all. This is like that little lightning in a bottle. And I think the script is exceedingly well written. It's pretty sharp, crisp dialogue. And then you got like Kevin Spacey, you got, you know, Connie over here, or Caroline over here. Then you got the lady who plays Connie. She shows up later with Gary. Then their 2 kids. And of course, Dennis, he seems so smooth in this that when he was done with like a couple of these movies and he did he was on an ABC show about firemen. I think it ended up moving to like FX,
Yeah.
Rescue Me or something like that. Or he had a police show on ABC, and then he went on to Rescue Me. Like this led to him having like some real legitimate juicy acting career after all these. So he clearly did a great enough job. I think he had a good look until he shaved off his stash and beard, though. He'll never
My
grow that
look.
shit back, but it's like, dude, you had a look. Just
He
saying.
did. He did. Like he was to me better than Andrew Dice Clay. Andrew Dice Clay was a shock jock, and he would go out there and just like slay you by saying like the naughtiest words you could possibly think of. Dennis could say those words, but said them intelligently and would drive a good show. The Dice Man was funny, but not in the same way. He didn't have a smart set like Dennis did.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna get my ass kicked for saying that. I'm sorry, Gen X.
Don't apologize. Like I only understand like half of that anyway. That wasn't usually my shtick, was comedy. I mean, but Andrew, I know the name Andrew Dice Clay. It's like he was him, Dennis Leary. There's somebody else around that. Maybe it was Sinbad, where he was like the
Sinbad never
PG
said a bad
version
word.
of like Everybody or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yes, that was Sinbad. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because he could still be funny. That was the weird thing. Sinbad never said a bad word, but could still be funny. Just like Gabriel Iglesias is now. Like he will fucking have you crying, dehydrated, laughing, but never say a bad word.
Right.
At least not in English.
You know, actually, Mick Foley does the same thing. He tells all these stories, and he maybe drops like one swear word the entire comedy set. He's like, "You're only going to get one, and I'm not going to tell you when it's going to happen. But if it slips out, it slips out."
I want to see Foley live. That would be great.
That would be pretty funny.
I've seen him on when WWE Network was on, and they had his stand up then.
I don't think I ever saw
and that
those.
was funny. What was that? I think it was Cheap Pop.
Okay,
called. But it was a good set. I liked it.
That's good. Well, speaking
Yeah,
of
I
good,
liked it.
we
Oh
can get
yeah,
back to the
this
movie.
show. Did we 0 point? We 0 pointed. So the good, the chemistry between this cast is amazing. Like there's a lot of hate between Caroline and Lloyd, and you could feel
Oh
it
yeah,
throughout the entire flick. And then you could almost feel a softness and sincerity to them both as they ease up to each other as the movie progresses, which is really weird because that's not how we initially grew to know Kevin Spacey.
correct. And then later to find out Kevin Spacey really is.
Not very patient or tender.
No.
Yeah.
But for
Anyway.
perspective purposes, this is one of those few roles where it feels like he's playing himself to a point, and those sometimes can be pretty good roles to latch into and tap into, because who's to tell? Like, some of this very well could have been some of his personality coming out because the role needed it. You needed somebody this like arrogant and so like confident, like, I wish he'd stop telling people about my penis being castrated in Florentine at dinner parties. Nobody wants to hear about your dreams. And he thinks like everything is about him. He's handling all the world's issues, thinks it's all about him. And yet she thinks everything is about her because he never thinks about her. It's like this weird relationship between the two. And it's almost, it goes to the point of the hero and the villain kind of yin yang. Like, your hero is only as good as his villain. This couple is only as good as the two of them put together. And they
Yeah,
bounce off
because
together so well. It's like you forget you're watching Kevin Spacey. You forget you're watching Judy Davis. And then you got like Denis Leary coming right in the middle to be like, you two morons, I'm hijacking your asses because I almost got caught because my partner Gus took off because he's a drunk idiot, old man, senile. He's probably getting drunk at the nearest dive bar. And then he hauls them to their house and then promptly like holds them hostage most of the movie. And initially you feel like they're resisting him because they can't stand each other, but they have to deal with each other in order to deal with him. And so you got this like, it's not even a love triangle because Gus doesn't even end
no.
up like freaking anybody in this movie. He's like the only one that's not dealing with family of any sort other than his partner Gus. But you got Kevin and Judy here. Just their relationship was the core of this movie, and Gus was the right kind of mix to shake it up and force them to face each other. And that's how that development exploded across the rest of the movie.
Yes, because prior to that, they had been seeing Dr. Wong, who of course was being played by BD Wong,
Yep.
who is brilliant in everything he's in. I love him from like this.
Ding!
God, was it long? Ding! Stop! Law and Order, Jurassic Park. Like he's the best in everything. I just truly love him. But to see Denis Leary play Dr. Wong later was goddamn funny.
You don't look like a Wong.
My mother was Irish.
And your father was
Wasn't.
not.
Yes. So you were talking about the movies, the heroes are only as good as the villains. And you're like, okay, so we were halfway through this movie and the heroes are the villains and the villains are the heroes. You're kind of like, well, God, all these people are kind of just piss poor. Like none of them are good people. Like you could see why they're getting a divorce. You could see why he's a burglar, like, or why he's not the hero. He's a burglar. Like he deserves to get caught. But then after all this mess and all their arguing throughout the first half of the movie, then you meet Mother, the real villain of the fucking movie. And she's just so over the top wicked that even Gus wants to kill her.
Yeah, it gets to the point where they're gagging her, and after everybody's like, it's already out there, like, yeah, he's the crook, and we got to deal with everybody, and like police are going to be here soon and I'm running out of time. And he's just sitting there while she's like, I've dealt with worse than you. I've survived a world war. I've survived famine. I've survived weak men. And you don't have the balls to strap me to the back of your truck. And he's like, lady, your husband ain't dead. He's hiding. And then she just further antagonizes him, and he gets up and he's like, I want to hit her. And Lloyd's like, I know. My God, I know loan sharks who are nicer than her.
I thought you were supposed to be nice.
I do have something for that too.
I want everybody into the tent. Or I'm going to shoot her.
Go ahead, shoot her.
Go ahead.
Buddy, I was able to get a few done before we got on here.
This movie is just so callous. It's fantastic.
Like, you could almost quote this movie if I saw it enough. And I've seen it. I see it every year at Christmas time. This is one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah, oh God, I mean, I've got a small handful of Christmas stories that I really like, and that's about it. Like, genuine Christmas stories. And I guess this wouldn't be it, but I consider it to be. Like, I watch this every year. I watch The Muppets Christmas Carol every year. Flash forward.
There you go.
Right. What else? Blah. Krampus now.
Oh, yeah.
There's just a very small handful of movies that I really like that I watch every year for Christmas. And this is one of them. Oh, Ernest. That's the one I get cranky.
Oh, Ernest, it's Christmas. Yeah. That's a movie we did last year, everybody. So if you go through our back episodes, we have a few Christmas episodes from last year because we like our Christmas movies, and we'll mishmash every time we hit a fun holiday season. So,
yeah. Terrifier 3 will probably be one next year. I'm sorry, but whatever.
Damn straight it will be, bro. I mean, I've last few days since I've been recovering from being sick. I mean, outside of like getting back to work yesterday, but like over the weekend, I was able to watch like a lot of the normal kind of like Christmas movies, and it just made me appreciate this one even more because I watched Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen. I watched the Santa Claus movies. I watched Die Hard 2. Die Hard 2 is not a Christmas movie, but Die Hard is. And so, yeah, that's for all you screwballs out there that think Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. Yes, it fucking is. But yeah, we watched like a bunch of like the nice, easy, fun ones. And all my horror ones are just sitting over here ready to go. And my wife and I technically watched this one like about a week ago. Like, and she's like, hey, let's just watch that tonight. So I was like, all right, well, it gives me timestamps and notes for the show. I ended up watching it again last night.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be watching something else, but I wanted to watch this instead.
I'm sorry. Gosh.
Don't apologize.
I've got 2 episodes left to go, and I don't want them to finish. Like, I don't want to. It's gonna suck after this.
That's our TV show review, everybody. But well, we'll talk about that there at the end of this. But oh God, Kevin, did you like what'd you think of the Lieutenant Huff character? I know it's kind of
Lieutenant
a
Huff
question, but we're talking characters here, so
I liked his character. I liked his character a lot. I liked his passive aggressive handling of the townsfolk, the rich townsfolk that kind of push their way around with their money, knowing people. My friend's a judge that I play golf with, and he's going to get you out of here. Or somebody with the district attorney's office is going to get you out of here. Like, they just
Get out.
Constantly badgered the police chief, and finally he's like, I nailed your wife last year 3 times.
3 times, Bob. Your wife said you
went.
never went. 3 times, Bob. And Bob had the great facial response to it where his ears perked up and his eyebrow bird up. It's like, you didn't have to say anything. It's all in the facial reaction that just sold it.
Yeah,
After
and
you were
that's
just basically told you're getting your ass fired, bro. I was like, yeah, well, I banged your wife 3 times. How about that?
Merry Christmas to you too, Bob.
You deck the halls of your wife with my balls.
It reminds me of something I used to say to other boyfriends. From a man's opinion, how does my dick taste? Anyway.
Let's all go to the bathroom.
Sit.
Excuse me, but I am not one of your patients.
You're gonna be somebody's patient if you don't get your ass back down into that chair.
Wow. Ow.
And I swear to God, you hit that kid one more time, and I'm gonna stick that pig's head right up your ass.
Gary, are you going to let him talk to me like that?
Well, hon, he is a doctor.
Speaking of doctors,
Christine Baranski's so fantastic. Like, she's up there to me. Like, we were talking about, oh God, I can't even think of her goddamn name.
Connie?
The bad guy from Klaus. Debbie.
Oh, yeah. Joan Cusack.
Cusack. Yeah, Joan Cusack. Like, she's up there with Joan Cusack with me. Just so phenomenally talented and elevates every movie that she's in.
Yep.
Like, every role should be written just for her because she could just take it to the next level. And she does that with Connie in this. She really does. Slipper socks. Medium.
He's not your errand boy anymore. Go do it yourself.
Yeah, that's up there with go find yourself a spin cycle.
Well, what I liked about that clip that I just played is the kids were clearly having a fun time in that scene too, because even her own daughter was just like their smirk. You can't fake that kind of smile. Like, it almost makes you wonder, was there a joke somebody made? Because Gary was the only one who kept a straight face in that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then when the kids are tying everybody up, like, they were legitimately having fun doing so too.
Yeah. Yeah. Connie was just like, her eyes went wide when it's like, kid, you could stop. You're gonna kill your mom. And she's like, oh, okay.
Fuck it.
And for fans of Christine, she is also Sheldon's mother in Big Bang Theory, if you were a fan of that show. She's also been in a lot of other TV shows and movies too.
Was she in the Big Bang Theory or was she in Young Sheldon?
No, she was in a Big Bang Theory. She was, no, Leonard's mom. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. That's right. I thought Aunt Jackie was his mom in
yeah, that's
Bang.
Sheldon's mom. This is Leonard's mom.
Oh, that's right. She was the psychiatrist.
Yeah. I was going to say she was the psychiatrist. Well, the reason why I thought in that order was because she really loved Sheldon, and she really went to him as like, you're the favorite of my son's kids friends here. So she like took to him like he was one of her own.
And then she was fucking picking apart Leonard because he was jealous.
Yep. Every time. I love Christine Baranski. She's fantastic. I mean, God, I can't get over like the cast, the script, like in the director. I mean, we also had Ted Demy like doing the directing on this, and there's a lot of great camera work. I don't know if I'm down with like the soundtrack too much, but like for what they do, it's fine. It's serviceable. It's not really that kind of a Christmas movie where you need like something whimsical at all times. That's how the movie starts off with, and then it quickly hits the brakes when they hit the marriage counseling session.
Well, it starts with a bit of Gregorian chant, doesn't it? Or something
Gregorian
like that. Some
chant
castrati kid. That's what it is.
Yeah, the chant as they show the manger missing the baby. That the Santa, Bob the Santa, then asks, does Jesse know what happened to the Santa? And then later, Gus finds the Santa in Jesse's room hidden. And
Wait
it's
a
totally
second.
funny because it totally actually plays a role in the movie throughout the movie. There's several things that do. This dude, Jesus Christ. He's got a lactose intolerance problem.
Santa can't drink milk, you little shit.
Everybody get your champagne. You get your champagne. I already got my champagne.
Santa's not supposed to drink champagne. He's supposed to drink cookies and milk. Fucking kids. No wonder he's pissed off every year.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is
As
where
I'm
I wonder
sitting
if
here
this is
with
where they got
champagne.
the idea for Bad Santa, you know? Although I've never seen that movie.
It's terrible. It's an absolutely horrible fucking movie.
I'd rather watch Jingle All the Way again. Oh, wait. I already did.
Honestly, I think I might want to too. And I don't like that movie neither. But here I am not cursing, but praising Sinbad and shit. So whatever.
Yeah, what do we know? Kevin, you got anything else that's good? I mean, I could sit here for the next hour talking about just about every little scene of this movie. So don't get me started on that.
The dialogue, I don't know if this was mostly ad-libbed by Dennis or if this was marvelously, geniusly written by somebody, but the dialogue is worth your price of admission for this movie. It doesn't get any better than this when it comes to a Christmas movie. This is as sharp dialogue as you're going to get. When it comes to being witty, this is as sharp as it's going to get. Like, it's just fun. It's smart. It's quick. It's terrible. But it's going to make you laugh. And by the end of it, it's sweet. Like, there's no part of it.
It actually circles back around. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no part of it where I'm bored in this movie, where I'm like, okay, let's fast forward to the good part. It's all a good part. Like, gosh, I guess you could say Mom showing up at the house is the good part, or Dr. Wong showing up is the good part. But like, this whole movie is the good part. It's just damn good.
Yeah. Now, do you have a favorite scene? Or is that a little too hard to choose because of like how well the movie was put together with the dialogue and just everything that we saw? Or would it be easier to say, do you have a scene that's not your favorite?
Oh God, the scenes that actually make the movie stand to a crawl but are brilliant, worth talking about, is Connie and Lloyd's scenes about where they're at in life and why they want the divorce. Both were worth Oscars there. Like, yes, this is a comedy, but they showed so much raw emotion in those scenes, or in that scene there. It slowed the whole flick down because none of it was funny until somebody said something and Gus had to tell them to shut the fuck up. But their point of view was just such strong moments in the movie that it was undeniably good. Especially Lloyd beating the shit out of the Christmas tree with the fire poker.
Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. The corpse still has the floor.
Right?
Yeah.
Could have beat the shit out of it.
I love though. Yeah. One of my favorite scenes is, I got a couple scenes, but one of my favorite scenes is the dinner scene when they break out the spread of like, we're going to be doing the roasted suckling pig and the kringlor and like all this lutefisk and this big Scandinavian spread. Now, so everybody knows, my wife and I replicated that dinner recently. And if you are a member on our channel, that will be a video that comes out as soon as I can finish editing it, for members only. So if you want to see us replicating that dinner, that is going to be on our members only side. Sorry about that, but that's the way it's going to be. And we will have a second video where we show my wife actually putting together some of the meals and how it all came together. So that's going to be in store for everybody. That being said, I absolutely love
I would
that
have
scene
flown down
because
for
of the
that.
candles on the head. Because we got the background back here, and I'm like staring at it, and I'm like, I got to talk about the dinner because everybody had a comment about the food. Gus could barely eat anything in there, and Grandma Rose was just like, "What the hell am I eating?"
Why don't you eat me?
So it's a fun long scene, and it does break down with some of the
Great
good.
cousins, honey.
Well, they have Guggens,
Googans, not coos.
but no, we. It's such a good. I love the scene because it goes from
Great
high speed
Googans.
to low speed, and to talk about like the family interplay between everybody. That's where you see Gary and Connie's issues between each other, and you got like the kids that seem to keep getting smacked and being told to shut up. I mean, even the daughter ended up having a line. I forgot what her name was, but Mary, yeah, she was in the car as they were on their way there, and she's talking about like, what's going to happen with the criminal if they catch him? You think they might let him go? And Mom was just like, of course not. We're not. Who really catches a criminal and then lets them go? And Mary just says, a Republican. Of course, that's not so much these days. It's kind of the other side around, but it was still pretty funny. And then my other favorite scene is probably the scene where Gus is talking to Jesse before fully gagging him up and then starting this whole charade. And he tells him, like, basically, you think you got this great plan to run away and be some sort of badass because you feel your privilege. You have opportunities up the ass and you do nothing with them. And ultimately, what goes on is Gus says, this is not how reality works. And sometimes shit doesn't go your way. And that's just the way it goes. Like, that's just not the real world. And I lost Kevin. So I love that scene with Jesse. It's very important, it's very potent, and it shows, hey, Kevin's back. Is he back? Kevin? You there?
I don't know what's happening. It's kicking me in and out.
StreamYards, everybody, in a live review session. Oh. And I don't have the slides to move on over to anything bad, but while we're waiting for Kevin to resolve his StreamYard issues, want to talk about one of the things that is a problem with this movie is the being able to find this movie anywhere out there. You can find a DVD out there, you can find a VHS tape out there, you can maybe find a laser disc out there, which I just obtained recently for a few bucks. Do I have a laser disc player?
Schnikey.
No, but one of the problems with the ref is the availability to view it and watch it. Although I thought I saw it was on Prime recently, but I want to double check that. Just waiting for Kevin to resolve his tech issues over there.
Oh, you want this part up then? Yes.
Yeah, we might as well hit the bad because it's like, well, it's the first thing I could think of when you're not around and I got to handle everything.
Well, no, that is my bad. Is there is no Blu-ray to this? There is no 4K to this.
You bastard!
They
You were
have-
telling me there was going to be a bad thing about this movie that I was going to agree with you, and I'm like, fuck, I'm going to agree with you on anything bad about this movie, and then you throw that at me. I thought it was something actually about the movie, you prick.
No, this is a perfect movie. Like, there are a handful of perfect movies. There's The Princess Bride, there's this, and they're all perfectly made for all specific reasons. Like, this is a perfect Christmas movie. It doesn't require titties. It doesn't require bloodshed. It doesn't require anything like that. It's just a fun, cute movie. It's got a lot of F-bombs in it. It's naughty enough to make you laugh. But I don't know if it's because of the production company. I don't know.
It's
if
Touchstone
because of the cast.
Pictures, and it's Kevin Spacey. It's a bit of everything going on with this movie. It's unfortunate, but this isn't the only Touchstone movie that's still like not readily available. Like, this is goddamn fucking
No.
movie I've been screaming for a Blu-ray on since basically they invented the format. It needs a
Adventures in
better copy.
Babysitting.
I
You
have
can find the
Adventures in
remake of it
Babysitting.
on Blu-ray or DVD.
Blu-ray. It's the original one
off.
before they edited the damn thing.
They edited it.
Yeah.
Was it because of the Blues Bar?
No, it was either the swearing scene or the nude scene.
I don't remember either, but now I gotta
So
go find it.
I'll look for it later. Jeez.
I don't know, but the only thing that I could pick out that was bad from this movie, because again, we both said it previously, we watch this movie every year, at least once a year. The only thing I could pick out bad from it is the resolution is not that great. Like, this could be a prettier picture to look at than what I'm seeing it from DVD.
And speaking of resolutions, did you know about the ending that they had to throw away?
No.
The ending that they originally shot, which after a test screening they had to throw away, was basically Gus turning himself in to show Jesse that a life of crime does not pay.
Yeah, that.
So I'm glad they didn't do that. It didn't fit with the tone of the movie.
No, not at all. Like, no.
I know.
I've never met anyone's kid.
I see your eyes over there just going, oh my God, my world has been blown apart.
Does not compute. This is stupid. I don't understand.
I don't understand. But no, like so it is available for, like, it is on Prime. It's available to rent digitally. But if you want home video, like, the DVDs range from like $20 to like $100. And
wow.
I can't really speak to like Laserdisc is like, this was like $6. And my VHS tape I basically had since I bought it like years ago, like 30 years ago. This movie's 30 years old.
Yeah, it fucks me up inside.
Yeah.
Because I was 19 when I saw it. Like, damn.
Yeah. But no, to your point, like, the ending was a little but it kind of fit the movie. I just kind of wanted something a little more, because you never end up knowing anything else about everybody else. And this movie does have one lingering question. Like, maybe this is a thing in hindsight, but you hear about Catherine or Connie's affair over and over and over again. They never mentioned who, but they do mention it's been some time since it happened. So it's been at least a few years since it happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
That he's like constantly lived with and dealt with his humiliation every single fucking day.
Yeah.
And hated his life every single fucking day.
Yeah.
This is like the prequel to American Beauty.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
His character in American Beauty.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Maybe this was his test screen run for it. Hey, we can make this guy even weirder and worse.
Yeah, like, we'll make him more morose.
Yeah,
we'll
just
do that.
Oh my God. But no, it does look like you can rent this on Amazon. God, I want this on Blu-ray though. Maybe Kino Lover will get it, because they've released some Touchstone movies before too.
Have they?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
IMDb looks like it's rating this
don't
at about
know,
a
like
6.9, so I don't know about that as a score, but
really?
yep.
Wow.
Critical. I wonder what
See, I would
Critical
think it would be
has.
much higher than that because this is a much more fun film.
Well, that's the kind of the
And
other that
again,
goes to
it's
the other thing of
fun
the
while you're
bad is
watching
like,
banter. You're not watching I mean, yes, there is physical comedy to them, but it's not a whole lot. Most of it is verbal.
yeah, that just goes to my point about like, this movie has to have your sense of humor. If you don't have the kind of sense of humor to watch sarcastic, dry, witty things, this movie's not going to land with you. So it's not like a mainstream appeal, but if you have that kind of sense of humor, this is going to be right up your freaking alley. And I can't see a rating on Criticalist. So I think we're going to have to help with that. It's only got 3 votes so far. Needs 10. Well, Kevin, you want to judge this? If Kevin's available over there?
Oh, for sure. For
Okay.
sure. And I'm sarcastic as hell. And my cousin knew that when he showed me this movie. He was like, dude, you are going to love this. And it's like,
Aw, poor baby. He's getting booted. Sup, Idaho Mike? No problem. Be on replay here. And while Kevin's resolving his little tech issue again, I'm going to play one of my absolute favorite scenes of this movie before we commence judgment of 1994's The Ref.
You know what, Mom? You know what I'm gonna get you next Christmas? A big wooden cross. So every time you feel unappreciated for all your sacrifices, you can climb on up and nail yourself to it.
Just another example of the fun dialogue. And that's probably one of the most iconic scenes for a lot of fans of the movie. And if you like The Ref, I mean, you like Denis Leary. Yeah, Mike, we lost Kev. It's all right. Part of the fun of going live is just trying to find a way to keep on going. But, Denis Leary does a great job. So on a judgment level, I'm just going to go ahead and get rolling into that while we wait for Kev. But as far as judging this movie, I think like this is a fantastic movie. It is definitely not for everybody, but if you got that sense of humor we've been talking about throughout the review, absolutely this is going to be it. Kevin, throw up the judgment tab when you have a chance. And if I'm going to rate this thing, I mean, we got some great performances. We have great writing. There's solid directing. There's great camera work. It's just unfortunate the home video features really haven't been there for this movie. I'm probably actually going to do a little rental from Amazon Prime. I want to see how well the quality looks because if you see the clips that I did, it's because I ripped the DVD. No Blu-ray, no 4K. Would love somebody to get it, but on a scale of 10, I'm going to give this a very, very solid 9.5. That's a Jeff scale. You don't like my review? You don't like my score? Door's right there. That's totally cool. I don't mind. You don't have to agree with me. I love this movie and proud to have it in my collection. I have it on every format it's been released on. 9.5 is my score, and I recommend everybody give this one a watch. Kevin, what about you?
I'm gonna go perfect 10. Like I said, this is one of those few perfect movies where I'm constantly entertained. It's not so pushy with the Christmas spirit where you're feeling like you're gagging. It's naughty enough to make you laugh, but it's innocent enough to where you're not watching something sinful for Christmas. This is a good Christmas flick. This is people learning to overcome themselves to love other people better. and then enriching their own lives is doing so. This is just a good, fun time. Unfortunately, because of Kevin Spacey's antics and politics, whatever it was, combination of the two, whatever.
Yeah, no kidding.
We don't get to see the softness we should, but we should. We really, really should. Like, this should be in your collection. This should be in your rotation for Christmas movies, and you should be telling your friends about this movie because it's funny as shit. Try to quote it at the water cooler. Will you get in trouble? Fuck yes, but people are gonna laugh about it.
Damn straight. And it's also a good conversation piece. And if your family is as saucy as like this family is, bring this one over or fire up your Amazon Prime account and watch it on streaming with them. I'm sure they'll sit down and be like, oh, what movie you watching? And 20 minutes later, you're all going to be like dying laughing like, hey, that's like grandma from like 5 years ago before she passed away. There's literally comedy in this for, if you got that sense of humor, there's comedy in this for just about everybody. Oh, there's only like so many characters. We didn't even touch upon like subplots, like Jesse blackmailing his military school principal. Like, Jesus Christ. Which was played by J.K. Simmons, everybody. You're J. Jonah Jameson, or your Red One Santa Claus was in this movie with a more fuller head of hair.
And I think this was probably the first time I saw him.
I think it is too for me.
I want to say it might have been The Gift, but no, I'm pretty sure it was this.
Okay.
Which we should do The Gift sometime. That movie's intense.
Is that the Sam Raimi one with Katie Holmes?
It's Sam Raimi.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was like, but I remember Katie Holmes is in that one too.
Yeah, it's the only movie. Well, no, it's the first movie I liked her in. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she was in Batman Begins and
yeah, she was really good in it. And then the other movie I liked her in was Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. Otherwise, I'm kind of like, nee.
Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. I don't remember
Tooth
that
Fairies.
one. Oh, that one. Yep. For a minute, but Kevin wasn't here for this.
Go.
But
Go is all right. Actually, no, Go was not okay. I tried really hard to like Go in the theater, but I thought it was, yeah, that was a Guillermo del Toro movie. Like,
yep.
Yeah, it was fun. It was basically the Tooth Fairies from Hellboy 2.
Okay. Interesting. Kevin, I got one last final question for you before we say goodbye to everybody tonight. How would you rate this amongst other Christmas movies? I might be losing Kevin again. Yep, we're losing Kevin again. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. I was going to play him the unappreciated clip one more time, but hell with it, screw it. We'll keep it going for a moment here. I think this ranks very highly for a Christmas movie, and I think it stands the test of time. Yeah, does it not have a cell phone? Sure, it doesn't have a cell phone, but I like these kind of period pieces where they're playing with VCRs. The cops clearly don't understand how they work. And there's a lot of like subplots that go on here and there that we didn't really dip into, but we try and keep our reviews about 45 minutes to about an hour. And uh-oh, he's back. We're just wrapping up, Kevin. But for Kevin, one last thing for you, Kevin, before we say goodbye to everybody. I feel a little unappreciated.
You know what, Mom? You know what I'm going to get you next Christmas? A big wooden cross. So every time you feel unappreciated for all your sacrifices, you can climb on up and nail yourself to it.
And that being said, thank you everybody for tuning in for The Ref 1994, starring Denis Leary. We thank you for joining us. Please hit the like button on the way out and also subscribe, hit the little bell notification so you can stay tuned to all of our video content, and we will see you all on the next one.
First came the insult. Then came the injury. But when it came to taking hostages,
I suppose you'll use this drama as a reason to have another affair. Just go on over and get it over with.
hasn't he suffered enough?
Chose me because I was a little. Shut up!
Hijacked.
Yeah.